Hello YouTube, it's Steve333 with another pickups video. Finally, Happy New Year to everyone. I hope everyone had a good Christmas. I was hoping to post something over Christmas, but as these things happen, broke up for Christmas and immediately got ill. Luckily I managed to get my Christmas dinner down my neck before I started coming down with a cold, but there you go. Anyway. Been in a bit quiet uploads wise over the last couple of months. The only two things really that I've uploaded relatively recently are a couple of unboxings, if you like. First of which was one of those, and followed that up fairly shortly afterwards with my video on that, the new 3DS XL. So I suppose the best place to kick off with would be the game that I got for that, which I've been looking forward to getting for a while, and that is Xenoblade Chronicles 3D. So I can now play that. Right, so where to begin? It's going to be very haphazard, as usual. I don't think you expect anything else from me now. I did get this not long after basically I did my last upload or pickups video, and this one I sort of actually got off eBay. Very pleased to get it. What had piqued my interest was I'd obviously wanted one of these for quite a long time, and then I managed to watch a couple of videos in which they were showcased, if you like, and I thought, oh, I'm going to keep my eye on these, and I saw one almost immediately which looked to be pretty underpriced, so I thought I'll put a cheeky bid in, and I actually won it. Very pleased with it. It was I think it was either 32 or 36 quid. When you consider you get a system and an accessory, and there's a couple of games in here as well. I think it's Galaga Legions, and what was the other thing? Might have been a Tomb Raider. Oh no, not Galaga Legions, Galaga Destination Earth. And can't remember. I'm not going to spend the entire duration of this video scrabbling around in the box, but basically it is a PlayStation 1 or PS1 with the official Sony LCD screen, and I've got to say, pretty blown away with that. Quality on it's amazing really when you consider how old the tech is, and the sound on it is very good as well. So I might actually do a little upload just demoing that really. Anyway, very pleased with that. Where shall I go next? Yeah, let's do a few bits and pieces. This I think I got for £1 from somewhere, I cannot remember where, but I thought it'd be useful. It's one of these multi adapters for the 360, PS3, Wii and PS2, and it is a component cable. As you can see, it originally came from Game Station. I've not actually sort of tested it to see how good quality it is, but at £1 I think that's worth having. You can never have too many leads, especially component leads. So another recent purchase, this one I got last week. This was the car boot sale, and this was almost a curiosity really, because I got my PlayStation VR, but I saw this. I have a Samsung phone and I got a Gear VR, which appears to have never been used because it still had the screen protectors on, you know, the bit of film that goes over the lenses and so forth. It's pretty good. It's nothing like the PSVR. You know, not as good quality as you would expect, but pretty decent, and worth what I paid for it, which was 12 quid. Right, so yes, some more miscellaneous things. Probably best to say, not long before Christmas I visited one of the car boots local to me. I think it was the last one before it closed for the winter, and I took my wife with me. I saw a couple of bits and bobs. In fact, actually I went there a couple of weeks before and found, yes, those. Sorry, Right, okay, so yeah, I found these, which is nothing particularly to shout about, but it is that, which is obviously an empty box, but inside it's got Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, but also in there it had a much better condition disc of new Super Mario Brothers Wii than the one I've got. I actually managed to get my one working. It was scratched to hell, but better to have a nice condition copy. And this is a Japanese PSP game, which was the last thing I expected to see. I believe this was released over here. As you can see, that's what it looks like. I think this might have been released over here as Fluid. If you have a look at the back, it looks like a bit of like mercury or something. So I think the idea is to guide it around a maze. But yeah, I've not actually put it in my hacked PSP yet to see if that works. So hopefully it does. I think they cost me either £1 or 50p each, so you can't grumble at that. A couple of recent charity shop pickups. Black Ops 2 for the PlayStation 3, and Ghostbusters for the PS3 in an unofficial case without any sleeve, but that wasn't bad. That was, I think they were 95p each. Oh, I think this was from that car boot as well. It's Flight Simulator X Acceleration and Expansion Pack. So that was when I found Fluid and New Super Mario Brothers. Right, what next? So yeah, returning to that same location a couple of weeks later with my wife, I saw a chap walking in the opposite direction to us. We got there reasonably late. I saw this guy got what looked like an N64 game in his hand, but I didn't see what it was, and I thought, oh damn, I've missed it. But it seems I hadn't, because as we sort of proceeded through the car boot, I saw this chap with a table, and he got a few older systems, a fair number of cartridges and things. So the first couple of things I got from him was Turok 2 for the N64 and Carmageddon 64. I think the original Turok was there as well, which I'd planned to get, but I'd sort of ummed and ahed about whether or not to get something. These were the other two things I got off him. These have had the Cajones del Oro ironing treatment on the boxes. They're by no means perfect, but they are better than they were. So I've got a box copy of Lemmings 2 Tribes for the Super Nintendo. You know, boxed manual, etc. And Street Fighter 2 Turbo. And as you can see, you know, they're fairly beaten up, but I've got them more or less square, if you like. And yeah, I'm pretty pleased with them. I think the N64 games were a couple of quid each, and the Super Nintendo games were either 10 or 15 each. No, let me think about it. No, I can't remember for certain, but yeah, I was pleased to pick them up for that. As much as I would love to have a Super Nintendo fully boxed collection, that's never going to happen, but if you see them here and there and they're decently priced, then I'm not going to say no. Talking of Super Nintendo, I saw this loose in my local computer exchange a couple of days after watching a couple of videos of this game, which I've never actually played, and I thought it was quite reasonably priced. I think it was £18 or something, and I had some CEX credit, so I got this. It is Super Aleste, and it's a good game. I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed playing it. Whilst I was there at Computer Exchange, I've got my wife a game which I forget what it was now. I think it might have been Odin Sphere for the PS4. But I also saw this, which I've been after for a very long time, and it is Ikaruga on the GameCube, and as you can see, very nice condition. So more CX credit went on that. So right, what next? A couple of miscellaneous things. They are sort of gaming related, sort of Star Wars related. These were being sold off in I think it was Home Bargains or something, and I couldn't really resist them. They were $2.99 each. They're in the box at the moment. It is Disney Infinity figures. You've got starter pack for The Force Awakens and the starter pack for Star Wars. I call it Star Wars rather than A New Hope because I'm old enough. But yeah, they're nice little figures. So I thought, why not? So yes, I'm flipping around again. Going back to that car boot that I mentioned where I got the Super Nintendo games. There were a couple of loose tapes that someone was selling, a couple of other Spectrum games, and again it was one of them where he says, oh, if I don't sell them today they're going in the bin. So I don't like that idea. So not in their original cases. I've got Paul for the Spectrum by Bug Bite, and Stallone Cobra by Ocean. So yeah, quite pleasing to get them. Talking of Ocean, very sad news to hear that Bob Wakelin, who used to do many of the covers for all the Ocean software, apparently died this weekend. So I'd actually seen him in passing at a couple of events that I've been to, and sort of always planned to at some point get a signed bit of artwork from him. So obviously I'm not going to do that now, but sort of far beyond that, what a shame, what a waste of such a talented guy. Sad news, very sad news. So yeah, all you can say is that you know your thoughts go out to his family. He didn't seem particularly old, didn't seem particularly unwell as far as I know, and I don't know him, but very sad anyway. So going back to happier times with the Spectrum, I backed something on Kickstarter sort of midway through the year, and it was the Fusion Books Kickstarter for the Crash Calendar. Crash Calendar. Crash Calendar was actually an extra. Might as well show you it here. A couple of bits, there we go. Great artwork by Oliver Frey. Here's the annual itself, and it is an annual, not a calendar. It's not read it cover to cover yet, as much as I'd wanted to, just because I was not feeling like doing anything over Christmas. But as you can see, it sort of captures the feel of the original magazine fantastically. So I'm well pleased with this. Like I say, I've read various bits so far and really loving it. So huge thumbs up to everyone that worked on it. There was another little Kickstarter stretch goal, which was a map in there, which I'm not going to take out and unfold because I want to keep it in good nick. I think it was for Night Law, if I remember. And there's a couple of other things. You got a little badge and a pin, I think you call them, don't you? Crash Smash. Brilliant. First computer magazine I've got regularly that. I've got, I think, the odd one or two sort of programming magazines, but Crash was a gaming magazine that I really loved, and sort of associated with that. I follow the chap that runs Fusion Retro Books, Chris Wilkins, and he'd posted up that there was some spare copies, if you like, of a film called Memoirs of a Spectrum Addict. So I'd got my eye on this a while ago, and it sort of gone out of my mind. I thought, oh well, you know, it'd be rude not to. So I got this number 76 out of 100, I think, or maybe 128, I don't know. But yeah, it's not a bad little, documentary. That brought back some memories. So right, what should we show you next? Another couple of miscellaneous bits. This I got from a recycle centre. I just asked how much it was. £15. It's another PlayStation 3. It is obviously the slim model. Hooked it all up. It works a treat, and I think it had a game in there. I forget which. I think it was probably a Call of Duty game. But yeah, I'm never going to turn down a PlayStation 3 for 15 quid. So yeah, that was good. Right, this is something I found at my local Oxfam. I was umming and ahhing about it. I would ideally like, as with most Mega Drive games, to get box copies if possible, because obviously the Mega Drive boxes are a lot more hardware in than the Nintendo counterparts. But I think this is getting quite pricey now, so certainly this can be a placeholder until I can find a box copy reasonably. The label was fairly well battered, it was peeling, there was some tears and rips. So I bit the bullet and sort of, for want of a better description, coloured in the bits that were ripped and sort of tried to spruce it up as best I could. And it is the Chaos engine. Now if you have a look really closely, you can probably see that there's some marking on there. You know, on close inspection it looks a bit duff, but it plays, which is the main thing. So very happy to get that. Right, what next? Let's show you some current gen stuff. These have been bought largely with vouchers as Christmas presents. I'm just trying to sort these into some sort of order. Yeah, that makes sense, I think. Yeah. So, right. This one was bought for £10 because I took advantage of a Nectar points thing where you earn bonus points, and then approaching Christmas there's a bit where you can double the value of them. So effectively, despite all the furore about this particular game and loot boxes or loot crates, I wanted it anyway. It's got Star Wars in the title, and if it's got Star Wars in the title, I'm going to get it sooner or later. You know, I'm diametrically opposed to loot crates. I've never bought one, never intend to buy one. But I understand why people are up in arms about it, because although you retain the choice to not buy them, there are going to be people out there that do buy them, and if it's pay to win, then it gets very annoying and so forth. But anyway, I got it anyway because it's Star Wars, which is probably what people like EA rely on. Anyway, Star Wars Battlefront 2, pretty good. Enjoyed the campaign. It's a bit short. I can't remember. I might have actually spoken about that in my last video. Can't remember now. Anyway, the campaign was pretty good. I've yet to play the couple of additional missions. The multiplayer, when I played it, was fun, but seemed to sort of hang a little bit. I don't know whether it was a server issue or what, but hopefully that's resolved now. Right, this was another bit of a bargain, this one. This was from Tesco, and this had been reduced from the monumentally huge price at this time last year of around sort of £60–70 or whatever, to a tenner. So I thought that was the sweet spot for picking it up, mainly for the remastered game as part of this, and it's Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, and it's got Modern Warfare remastered, which I think is reasonable. So, right, okay, we've got Middle Earth: Shadow of War. Again, one which is a little bit mired in controversy with loot boxes, but again, it won't really bother me, especially as it's a single player game, I believe. So, you know, I won't be buying any cosmetic items. Anyway, right, this one I played at Eurogamer, as wrong as you can get, but hugely funny. South Park: The Fractured Butthole. and a couple of VR games that I've had my eye on. Been looking forward to playing these for quite some time. Now that I actually am over my elongated, I wouldn't say illness, it wasn't that serious, but you know how it is when you're ill, you just don't have the motivation to do anything. Anyway, now I have, and now I don't have much time to do it, so them's the breaks, I suppose. Anyway, I've got Doom VFR, and the one I've been looking forward to even more than that was Skyrim VR. So yes, if you can imagine me in front of my TV screen with a headset on, waving a couple of PlayStation Move controllers around, that'll be me for hours and hours on end. So right, excuse me, onto the competing system, Xbox One, and I've got a little story about that. Basically, you may recall that my wife, just over 4 years ago now on my birthday, back towards the end of November, got me a release day Xbox One. Now recently that has been having issues. Sort of things would suddenly start out of the blue taking an elongated amount of time to load, which I think personally is probably some sort of a problem with the hard drive. Now what I'd like to do is sort of crack that open, take it out, replace it, but I don't really want to do that because that's the first and only sort of console I've got on release day ever, and it's sort of, you know, it's quite sentimental. It's quite sentimental to me because my wife's done that for me. So what I've done is, after I've restored the system for probably the dozenth time, I've packed that up in its box. I'd inquired about how much it would cost for Microsoft to repair it, and I'd sort of also said, you know, if I send this away, I want the same one back, and they couldn't guarantee that would happen. So if that was to happen, it would cost the best part of £100. So all over Christmas and into the new year, I've been umming and ahhing about what to do. I do have my wife's Xbox One, which I could sort of borrow back, I suppose, because she doesn't really use it that much. But if I was to get an Xbox One S, that could be an option. It could be an option to repair the day one version. In the end, I'd seen some deals over Christmas to get the Xbox One X, and although I haven't got a 4K display, that's something I'll probably get at some point in the future. So I went for it. After probably 3 to 4 weeks of head scratching, I decided to go for it. So I got the following games free with it: Fallout 4, Doom. I'm not sure if it's free or bundled, incidentally. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, which is a game you've probably heard me waffling about in previous videos. Great fun. Xbox One version is a little buggy at the moment, but it's earlier days for that. Forza 7 and Assassin's Creed Origins, which I have heard is a return to form for the franchise or series. These ones again have been picked up with vouchers from birthdays and birthday and Christmas. Wolfenstein 2, Evil Within 2, and this one again was another cheap one in Tesco. They've released like a Winter Olympics tie-in version with, I think, possibly a slight amount of extra content, but this was £10, and I sort of liked the look of it when it came out. Steep, so £10. I'm quite happy to get that. So right, back to miscellaneous bits. As you can see, I got that for £5. It's the hardcover copy of Playing with Power. I do have the soft cover version, but I saw that and I thought, oh, that's nice. That's sort of a bit hardier, so quite happy to pick that up. A few miscellaneous games now. Right, this one I actually already have. or had. On Boxing Day we went round and saw my my brother and his kids, and they mentioned this particular game because I took the Wii along for them to play on. They mentioned they've been trying to find this game and I'd taken it along. It's WarioWare Smooth Moves. So I says, Merry Christmas, you can have that one. And then I've obviously found this recently, a couple of weeks ago for £1. So there we go, that's a replacement for one I gave to one of my nieces. Can't remember where I picked these up from. I think they were 50p each. Make Assault 2 Lone Wolf for the Xbox, the original Xbox, and Futurama for the original Xbox. This, I wish I'd got this for the price I got it for, which was I think 95p. I wish I got it for the Dreamcast, but as I haven't, this will do. It's a PlayStation 2 copy of Evil Twin. Sadly, oh no, it was £1. Sadly, it's disc only. But again, at least I can play it now, even if it's without manual and not on the Dreamcast. This was £1. Grand Theft Auto 5, that will be one that I will trade in towards getting stuff from Computer Exchange. I cannot recall where I got this one. I do have it already, but it's actually in even better nick than my copy. So it is Klonoa 2 for the PlayStation 2. So I will be keeping hold of that one and trading in my copy, and that will again pay for a bit more stuff that I don't have from Computer Exchange in all probability. Talking of which, I saw this in a Computer Exchange about a week and a half ago. Ummed and ahed about it, immediately regretted umming and ahhing about it, because then I had to go back the other side of the weekend because it was Computer Exchange in the town that I work in, which obviously I thought it'd be gone over the weekend. They had a really nice box Saturn in there, which gives you a clue to what system it is. It is, for the Sega Saturn, it is Doom, and it's in nice condition. So yeah, very happy to get that. I am a big fan of Doom. Right, we're whittling it down now. Right, this was a miscellaneous thing. I do have a third-party version of one of these, but nice to get the original one. It's a Pro controller for the Wii U. It cost me £10. I thought that would be useful. Right. Okay. Now then, how best to go about this? Yeah. Right. Out and about yesterday, got some finds. This was, as you can see, 95p for the Wii. It is Red Steel 2. I got the first one but not the second, so quite pleased to get that. I believe it's meant to be quite an improvement on the first one as well. The motion controls are more tight from what I've heard. Right, and in another shop in the town, there was a bargain bucket where they got presumably old DVDs, CDs and so forth that they couldn't get rid of, so they reduced them to 50p each or 3 for £1. So I've got a film which I've put to one side, and then these 5 old PC games. So we've got Interstate 76, Nitro Riders, remake of Battlezone, which is from about 1998. So that was released 18 years after the original Battlezone, I think. And obviously I've got the VR Battlezone, so it's quite nice to see that progression. Right. Ecstatica, which is like a very early survival horror game, I think. I might have played this many years ago on a mate's PC. But yeah, I might have some trouble getting those working on any sort of PC that I've currently got available to me, but it'll be fun trying. Got this as well, The Elder Scrolls Adventures Redguard, which I think is probably meant to be not one of the best Elder Scrolls games, but I'll be quite happy to give it a go. Interestingly, it seems to be in one of the version 1 PlayStation case type things. If you have a look, it's got like a cardboard sleeve. It's on the sold out extreme label. But yeah, look at that. It looks like the original PlayStation 1 cases. It's quite curious. There you go. So yeah, that'd be interesting to try. And the last one, or last game, as I say, is another of my personal favourites, XCOM UFO Defense, which, as you know, I'm a huge fan of XCOM and anything that Julian Gollop does, ranging from Chaos to Laser Squad to Rebel Star. Brilliant. So to find that for effectively 33p is fantastic. So right, what next? I'm working my way towards the concluding part of the video, which is the visit to the car boot a couple of weeks ago. Before I do that, I'll show you what I picked up at a Cash Converters. How long ago? About 3 weeks ago. I'd noticed they'd got some Master System games in there and one Mega Drive game, which I'd already got, and they were quite highly priced. Oh, actually, before I get to them, another three random PC games. Sorry, that I found at the car boot a couple of weeks ago. Under a Killing Moon, Police Quest Collection, and a Gabriel Knight mystery, The Beast Within. And they were coincidentally 3 for £1 as well, so they cost me 33p each as well. So sorry, returning to the point of the Cash Converters. So yeah, I'd seen these Master System games, and I'd sort of got an email from Cash Converters after seeing something on Facebook. Oh, register your interest in blah blah blah, and we'll send you a £5 voucher that you can use if you make a spend over £30 or something. So I thought I'll go and have a look. So off I toddled, went in there, made my selections. Happy to note that they'd actually reduced most of the prices by 50% anyway of these games. Got them to the counter. They said, "Oh, we don't accept the voucher. We're franchised or something." So I thought, "Oh, that's a bit of a swizz." But I was, truth be told, pretty happy to pick these up anyway. So for the Master System, got Golden Axe. I think all of these are complete bar one. So Golden Axe, Laser Ghost, Wolf Child, and Basketball Nightmare, and the last one, which hasn't got the manual, disappointingly, but still pleased to get, was Ninja Gaiden. As you can see, no manual. I did leave some Master System games behind, either ones that I've got or ones that I wasn't particularly interested in. There was about 4 or 5 left, and I asked if I could have a look in the cases, in case, if you pardon the pun, someone had been through and put the manual back in the wrong case, but they hadn't. There was also a Super Nintendo game that I saw for £3.99, and I thought, I can't leave it there. I've got it already. It's the original Street Fighter 2 for the Super Nintendo. So yeah, I think all of that lot altogether cost about 40 quid. So again, some more of my Christmas money went on them. But pleased to build the Master System collection a little bit. There's some good games in there, quite hard to find as well, some of them I think. Anyway, right, I think we've worked our way to pickups from the car boot a couple of weeks ago. I was going to go this morning, but laziness won over, and also I thought, well, I've been there 2 weeks ago. Most of the people I saw there were sort of resellers generally, so I decided to take advantage of the warmth inside, and yeah, basically got some more sleep, which is good. Anyway, so I found this for £2, which is a game I used to have. And was quite pleased to see when he said £2. I was quite happy to pay that for Dr. Mario for the Game Boy. And to go with it, on a different stall a few minutes earlier, I'd actually seen this. I do have one of these systems already, but it's in very nice condition. I took a chance on it working. It's got the battery cover, and all in all, a really nice condition. So I paid £10 for this, and it's Game Boy Color in the sort of pinkish red. Quite nice. I've not really seen many of these around, so that will be added to my collection of Game Boys. So yeah, I was quite pleased with that. As the day progressed, I didn't think I was going to find a great deal, to be brutally honest. Like I say, there seemed to be a lot of resellers there and so on. But I did see a couple of things I was interested in. On the second time of sort of returning to this one particular store, I picked up this particular item, and I was looking more at what was in with it as opposed to what it was itself, because I thought it was quite expensive, given there was no guarantees. It was all wrapped up in, not cellophane, but it was all wrapped up, and that always sort of is a slight alarm bell, because you're thinking, right, okay, if someone's wrapped something in clear plastic or cling film or something like that, that means they don't really want you to be inspecting it. So I picked it up, and it had 50 quid on it, and I ummed and ahed, and I put it down again. The thing that I'd seen with it was Night Trap. Unfortunately, it's only disc 1, but I was curious about that because I've never played it, and obviously, you know, it's a bit of a notorious game. Anyway, the guy saw me looking at it probably for the second or third time, and he says, "Oh, yeah, all tested, blah blah blah, all pack tested, this, that, and the other." And I said, "Yeah, I was more looking at the game really." And he says, "Oh, yeah, why not get it?" And I was like, "Well, I've got the version 1, which gives you a clue as to what it is." Anyway, he just knocked 20 quid off it there and then, and I thought, okay, it's worth a punt. I've seen videos where if these things don't work, then they're quite easy to fix, and it could be a good backup for my Model 1 if it does fail at some point in the future. So it is a Mega CD2. Now, having hooked it up, it does have disc read issues. It powers up. It's got the extension part as well for the you know, if you want to put the Model 1 Mega Drive on the side. So that's useful. But yeah, I've yet to take that apart and have a tinker really. But I thought that was a reasonable gamble, if you like, to make, because yeah, I thought that was worthwhile. That took it from a price that I thought was too expensive to something more reasonable. So yeah, some birthday stroke Christmas money was spent on that. So on to the last stall, and this was purchased in 2 parts. There's a guy there that I'd seen before and I chatted to before. I think what he does is he collects himself, and probably has a far more extensive collection than I do. But I think what he tends to do, excuse me, is buy in bundles and then sort of takes out what he wants and then sells the rest to cover his costs. So I saw a few games that I was quite interested in from him, which I'll show in a second. In amongst these is a loose, well, not a loose, but an odd PlayStation game that I found. 007 Racing, no manual, but I haven't got that, and it looks like fun. So yeah, I got that from a different store for £1. But moving on, back to this seller. So I picked out a few things. Zero tolerance for the Mega Drive, again, it's a loose cart, so at some point in the future that will be upgraded to a box copy. First person shooter type of thing for the Mega Drive. Excuse me, never played it before buying it, but I've seen a few videos and it looks interesting, so I think that was £4 or £6. What he did was he bundled up, I bundled up, and he did me a deal on everything. I got disc of Crash Team Racing, which is good because I've got everything but the disc that I picked up at a car boot a couple of years ago now, so that completes my copy. I got this, which is a black label, but also a classics release, but I'm not that fussed. I've been looking to get hold of this for ages. I picked up a copy probably 4 years ago now, in the double case, because I remember having it back in the day, and yeah, when I got it home I opened it up, and schoolboy error, I'd not checked the disc. The disc was actually snapped in two. It looked okay from the surface in the poor light of this particular car boot, but when I got it home, found out it was cracked in a straight line down the middle of the from the centre of the disc to the outside. So yeah, I've been looking for this ever since, and it's quite hard to find really, without sort of paying over the odds, and it is loaded. So as I say, it's black label but like a classics release, but that'll do me. It means I can play it. If I see the double case version at some point in the future, that'd be great. So last couple of things from this guy on my original visit to his store, which was quite early in the day. This is one that I've never played, but I've seen lots and lots of sort of positive reviews of it, and I think this is by the Pickford brothers, and it is Plock. So yeah, I'm rather looking forward to playing that. And another one which I've never played a single game in this series, not one or two or this version. So when I saw it, I thought, yeah, I'm going to have that. And it is Super Fantasy Zone. Again, it's a loose Mega Drive cart, which isn't ideal. I'd rather have the box copy, but you know, beggars can't be choosers. And as I say, this can be a placeholder until I find myself a box copy, which is great. I've had a go on it, and it's great fun. I can see why people sort of not go on about it, but I can see why people rate it, so good fun. So anyway, sort of tootled around the rest of the car boot, and you know, didn't really, I found a few bits and bobs here and there and so on, some of which I've showed, well, I think most of which I've showed you already, and sort of went back to that stall again, and he'd put more stuff out. And what caught my attention, I saw what was it, Master of Darkness for the Game Gear, and I picked that up and had a look, and I thought, oh, I might get this. And then I looked to my left, and I saw something I never expected to see at the car boot before, or since. I don't think I will. I've wanted one of these for a very long time because, amongst other things, they have a couple of games that I really, really want to play for this particular system. Said with a question mark for a reason. One of those games that I really want to play is a Star Wars game, like a Sega Star Wars game. So again, using your powers of deduction, you've probably worked out what it is that I managed to see, and it is a 32X. Now, this wasn't, in normal terms, cheap. The guy, as I say, sort of, I think, buys bundles and sells his doubles. So he'd got an appreciation of how much these things are worth and how hard they are to find and so on. And he was selling them with all the paraphernalia. I'll show you most of it here. I've got obviously cables, and I've put one of the cables away, an adapter, the little metal dooblies that you put in the Mega Drive cartridge port. And he got it bundled up with a couple of games, 36 great holes, and Virtua Racing Deluxe. He told me the price, and like I say, it wasn't cheap, but in the big scheme of things, it was cheaper than I would be able to get on eBay, or certainly from the game shop. So I went for it. I've wanted one of them for years. Never thought I'd get one, to be honest. So in a way, I suppose it's like a grail item for me, which is pretty good. So yeah, very, very pleased to get that. Talking of Virtua Racing, incidentally, I've been playing the normal Mega Drive version of that the last week or so, just because there's one of the Facebook groups that I'm in. I think it's Retro Games Forever. They've got like a 52-week driving game time trial challenge. So I had some fun playing Virtua Racing on there, which, if you recall, I only got about 6 months ago for the original Mega Drive, and had barely played it. And then obviously we put it on, I think it was the expert circuit, and tried to get the best time, and I came 5th out of 17. Woo! So yeah, quite pleased with that. So yeah, anyway, that is pretty much in a nutshell the last 3.5 months. It has been quite a difficult time. Tried to be frugal with cash as well. So like I say, a lot of this, certainly the current gen stuff's been bought with birthday money and vouchers and so on. Really, once we're happy enough to be in a position where we can spend money. So anyway, that is about everything. Yeah, I don't think there's anything more I can say at this point, other than thank you very much for watching. Thanks for your patience in waiting for another video. Thanks to the new subscribers as well, and yeah, thanks to anyone who might be watching this by accident, so to speak, who might have watched me 3DS unboxing. The video seems to have been extremely well watched. Certainly, I think it's got about 3 times as many as all the rest of my videos put together. So yeah, if you were watching this particular rambling by accident, hope you've liked it if you've made it this far. But yeah, that's, like I say, thanks for everyone for subscribing and watching, and giving us the old thumbs up and so forth. And hopefully it won't quite be so long before I do another video. So for now, this is Darth Steve 333 signing off. Bye bye.